Welcome to the Champion Data Guide for the best race helmets of 2021. They're built for speed and safety, and we've given our test rider a total of 10 helmets to try out on the road with our data measuring instruments. Some very interesting results came out of this. So, which helmet will be the best? Stay tuned to find out. Sebastian from Champion Helmets here, and racing helmets are designed often to come at the top of their respective ranges. This means the best safety, aerodynamics, ventilation, and comfort. But if each one is meant to be the best, how do we really know which one comes out on top? This is why we've taken our top 5 sport helmets out on our Champion road test, as well as a few runners-up for good measure, to bring back plenty of interesting data. So our top contenders that we'll be giving to our rider to test out will be the HJC RPHA 11 Carbon, Arai RX-7V, Bell Raystar Flex Deluxe, Shoei X-Spirit 3, and the AGV Pista GP RR. As we head into our guide, don't forget to subscribe to keep up to date on our latest data-driven helmet road tests, where we bring you more details and we actually test these helmets out on the road for their ventilation, noise, and more, and we bring you the facts. Before we dive into parsing through these helmets' details and performance, just a quick reminder for how we set up our road test. On the left, we have a white monitor showing the helmet's internal temperature in degrees Celsius from a thermometer placed between the helmet's liner and the EPS. In the middle, we have the helmet's noise level from a microphone placed near our rider's ear. On the right, we have a telephone showing the day's average airspeed on the helmet from a bike-mounted anemometer. Lastly, on the dash is our rider's speed and the exterior temperature for the day. We performed our test at 130 km per hour or 80 miles per hour on long stretches of highway, and we took averages throughout. As we head into our guide, we also wanted to raise the important point that as our dataset has grown larger and we've road tested a greater number of helmets over the years, we've updated our ranking method. This means that with a greater set of data points across both modular and full-face segments, we've refined and improved our helmet ranking system, which means some rankings and scores may differ slightly. But just as we're fully transparent about the data we collect, we'll be just as clear with our ranking matrices and processes so that you can also do the math yourself. First up, we'll be taking a look at these helmets material. For this category, we rank these helmets according to the outer shell material, which is listed along the top, and the number of shell sizes listed along the side, since this affects safety, weight, price, and fitment. Starting with the HJC RPHA 11 Carbon, the helmet is composed of a carbon, aramid, and fiberglass composite with a higher carbon content in 3 outer shell sizes. This means the RPHA earns itself a great 3.5 stars. The Arai RX-7V also features a fiberglass composite outer shell in 3 outer shell sizes that has been designed to ensure a high level of strength. So the helmet earns 3.5 stars. In contrast to the HJC and Arai though, the Bell Raystar Flex features a full 3K carbon fiber outer shell in 5 outer shell sizes, which is the most we've seen and the most for this lineup. So this earns the helmet a full 5 stars. The Shoei X-Spirit 3 is coming composed of their AIM Plus fiberglass composite in 4 outer shell sizes, and this means that it is also off to a strong start with 4 stars. Last but not least, we have the AGV Pista GP RR, which is composed of a full carbon fiber outer shell, and though it is only offered in 4 outer shell sizes, it still earns 4.5 stars. So in the lead so far, we have the Bell Raystar, but can it keep the pressure up for weight? Next up, we come to weight, which is also going to be related to these helmets' material properties. We ranked helmets in this category according to our matrix bands once more to make sure that we get a fair balance for weight and scoring. As far as weight, we can see on the graph that the Arai is coming in at the bottom with 3 stars for its 1,660 grams, though this is standard for Arai helmets considering they use an extremely hard outer shell and subsequently need more impact-absorbing inner liner. We then get the Bellstar Deluxe and the AGV Pista GP RR making up the middle with a 1,400 to 1,500 gram mark, but it is when we come to the HJC RPHA 11 Carbon and the Shoei X-Spirit 3 that we get some fantastic results at around the 1,300 gram segment. This means that both helmets will be comfortable for longer when in the tuck, and they earn 5 stars. One other noteworthy helmet for weight is the Roof RO200, which has been designed specifically to be one of the lightest helmets in the world, which means it's coming in at about 1,100 grams. This means we actually have a runner-up coming out on top and shows we're getting another interesting result in a category that is crucial among racers. But will the Roof overturn our top contenders' titles? Let's find out. Now we come to the all-important face shield, and though it may seem straightforward, we do have some standouts here as well. But before we get to them, we ranked our contenders based on several aspects, including their anti-fogging options, their mechanisms, and the inclusion of an extra visor in the box. First off, though the Pista is pinlock and tear-off prepared with the insert in the box, the mechanism was not as strong as we hoped, which led to a lower visor scoring. The HJC RPHA Carbon and the Bell Raystar Flex are both coming pinlock prepared with the insert in the box, as well as a second dark smoke visor provided in the box, which makes them a great value for money offering and earns the helmets 4.5 stars. The Shoei X-Spirit 3 and the Arai RX-7V also stand out for their visor mechanisms featuring advanced locks and features. And while the RX-7V offers a great variable access system to pull the visor onto the helmet, only the X-Spirit 3, with its clever springs and tear-off preparation, earns 4.5 stars. One more thing to note for the riders who don't like swapping visors is that both the Shoei and the Bell offer photochromatic visors, which adds even more to their ease of use. So another interesting bit of information. And though these specs may be impressive, the real question is, how do these helmets perform on the road for noise or even ventilation for that matter? Looks like it's time to head out on our champion road test with our measuring instruments to find out. While we do keep in mind that noise is not what race helmets have been designed for, this is still an important factor for if you're using these helmets on the street, to or from the track. And while these results may be on the louder side, there's always the option of wearing earplugs. We ranked our helmets based on our ranking matrix once more, with the same set of bands as our other helmets. All our results were taken with the day's average airspeeds fluctuating between 115 to 130 km per hour, which means we have plenty of clean, comparable data. And we already got some really interesting results from our test. We have the Shoei, Arai, and Bell at about the 103 to 104 decibel mark, which was about average and earned them 3 stars, though it was 2.5 in the noisier Arai's case. So, which helmet stood out here? First, the Pista came in as our loudest helmet with 107 decibels, which explains why it comes with earplugs in the box and earns it 1 star. The other two noteworthy results were the HJC RPHA Carbon and, oddly enough, our runner-up, the Roof RO200, which gave us 102 decibels on our meter, making them incredibly, for a race helmet, quiet. To keep things in perspective, though 1 decibel may seem like a small difference, at these higher values, a change of 1 does make a significant difference. But noise aside, how will these helmets do for ventilation? Besides noise isolation, ventilation is going to be a crucial aspect for sports helmets. And though these ones are designed to vent best when in the tuck, we still have plenty of intriguing results from our test that still give us indicators for how they perform. We ranked our helmets based on their difference to the outside temperature, with different bands giving us our different rankings. Though our data sees the Shoei, Arai, HJC, and AGV all coming in at about the same temperature to the outside, or 1 degree hotter, which earns them 4 stars, only the Raystar has brought us some truly outstanding performance. Thanks to the large number of vents in the chin and brow, as well as the flex liner system, the interior temperature of the Bell helmet was 1 degree cooler to the outside. This earns it an incredible 5 stars, which is impressive since this is very difficult to achieve, and it means our results just got even more intriguing. Before we head into our final rankings and scores, it's important to see how these helmets compared for comfort and for their features. Though comfort is the only subjective category in our matrix, it captures any criteria that cannot be captured by hard data. Our rider has over 15 years of riding experience, and he uses that to examine aspects such as build quality, bulkiness, wind drag, and more. Though all these helmets come with removable, washable, and antibacterial liners, since these are already top helmets from their respective companies, we do have a striking set of results so far. We have the HJC RPHA Carbon, Bell Raystar Flex, and the Arai RX-7V coming in at about the 4-star mark, but the AGV and Shoei really stand out with 4.5 and 5 stars respectively. The Shoei brings a great level of liner options with an adjustable liner for upright and tucked riding, interchangeable interiors, and it even fits glasses, which is not as common in the racing segment. Another funny little fact that we overlooked but was captured by our rider was that the Shoei has a softer liner specifically behind the ears due to this area being extra sensitive, and he found this illustrative for the overall eye for detail from the Japanese manufacturer. For our runners-up, the Shark Racer Pro GP, X803 RS Ultra Carbon, AGV Corsa R, and the Roof RO200 also did well for comfort, all things considered, and the X-Lite comes with adjustable interiors as well. This leaves us with one more category to rank these helmets on, which is going to be features. So, which comes out on top? The data we've collected is very interesting so far, but we still have one more aspect of the helmet to consider, which is what features you're getting. As you can see in our matrix, this is determined based on features that riders have asked us about the most, such as speaker pockets, emergency quick-release cheek pads, wind tunnel testing, liner customization, and additional homologations. Considering that this section really looks at what manufacturers have put into their helmets, we get an equally interesting set of results. Offering a mid-tier level of features, we have the X-Spirit 3 and Bell Race Star Flex with 3 stars, which isn't too bad considering that these helmets are built for racing. The RX-7V then pulls up to the HJC RPHA 11 carbon thanks to its highly customizable liner. We have the Pista making up the upper segment since it is one of the only FIM certified helmets in our lineup besides the Shark Racer Pro GP FIM and the Arai RX-7V Racing. With its own FIM certification and additional wind tunnel testing that the RX-7V Racing, a runner-up, comes with, the helmet earns 4.5 stars for features, mainly thanks to those added speaker pockets and similar customizable interior. So this was definitely a surprise shakeup in our rankings, but we've yet to see how these helmets compare altogether. So we've seen a lot of interesting data and specs, but what does this mean when we move on to these helmets' rankings? Looking at each helmet's performance by category altogether, we get a better idea for how each one compares. While we have the X-Spirit 3 Bell Race Star Flex and the HJC RPHA 11 carbon bringing strong performance across the board, the Arai and AGV suffered a little bit more from poorer noise isolation and heavier weights. But even so, they also bring top performance in other aspects, including comfort and safety, and since the Pista is FIM certified, and there is a FIM version of the Arai available, which we've included as a runner-up. Once again, we see 2 of our runners-up climbing the rankings, with the Corsa R and the X803 RS Ultra Carbon as well, each bringing a consistently strong performance across the board. But even with this interesting set of results, what effect will we see when we factor these helmets' price into their scores? Though we may have helmets scoring well across the board, they're all offering this performance at different prices. So it's important to consider how much helmet you're actually getting for what you're paying. This is why we've broken down our new ranking matrix into the helmet's price, average star ranking, and euro per star value. Looking at these last 2 figures, we've ordered the helmets and doled out additional stars accordingly based on our ranking formula. These points were then factored into our helmet's final scores, and it gives us a much better idea of how the helmet has balanced both performance and price. We first have our runners-up in positions 6 to 10, but what will our top ordering be? In 5th, we have the Arai RX-7V with an average of 3.4, while in 4th, we have the AGV Pista GP RR with its average of 3.6 stars. Here, we're already seeing some issues as far as price versus performance. In 3rd, we have the HJC RPHA 11 carbon with its 3.9, and for 2nd, we have the Race Star Deluxe with 4.1. Lastly, in 1st, we have the Shoei X-Spirit 3, and though it scored the same as the Bell helmet, its lower price means we have a lower euro per star value, and that it comes in number 1 for this ranking. So with all our data and rankings taken care of and factored in, let's see which race helmet is the best for 2021. Now we come to the big moment where we see how the data leads to these helmets' scores. Starting with 5th place, we have the Arai RX-7V with a score of 6.8 out of 10 at 35 euros per star. Not far behind though, in 4th place, we have the AGV Pista GP RR scoring 7.1 at 50 euros per star. The main downfall of the Pista was that the high price of the helmet meant we got a very poor value for money figure while still seeing performance similar to our other top contenders in the Shoei and Bell. And though we get a great field of view and visor thickness, we were hoping for a more robust visor mechanism. This means the helmet is unfortunately too expensive for how it performs. In 3rd place, we have the HJC RPHA 11 carbon bringing a strong score of 7.7 and a euro per star rating of 19. In 2nd, we have the Bell Race Star Flex at 8.2 and 26 euros per star, which leaves the X-Spirit 3 to claim 1st with a score of 8.4 and an equally strong value for money of 24.5 euros per star. So there you have it. Looking at all the data we've gathered, we're comfortable in saying the Shoei X-Spirit 3 is the best racing helmet available on the market today. Although it may not be a huge surprise, we now at least saw it being confirmed by factual data rather than someone's opinion. If you're curious to learn more about any of the helmets that we've featured, make sure to check out championhelmets.com where we have our lowest price guarantee and plenty of bundle deals including additional visors and discounted communication systems. With our road test completed and plenty of interesting results, we now know our winner for the best racing helmets of 2021. With the X-Spirit 3 on top, the helmet brings a lot to the table, though this will of course vary depending on what you're looking to get out of your helmet. If you're still craving more of our Champion road test data, then make sure to subscribe and avoid missing out on any more of our data reviews in the future. I'm Sebastian from Champion Helmets, and thanks for watching.